Ricky, you know I don't play by the rules.
Why you gotta do this to me, Joe? I was just enjoying my drink. Welcome back, travelers, to Legendary Lore! With my maze-running companion, Joe.
I had an opening and I forgot it.
That works. So we're talking about Return to Ravnica. And in this particular point, Jace is, I guess you could say, depressed. The best way to describe Jace is depressed and probably suffering from pretty severe PTSD, considering he came in contact with the Eldritch Horror, was attacked by a giant, God King dragon. He had to watch his best friend die through his own mind as he slowly faded into oblivion. He had to die as his friend. He had to do a whole bunch of stuff. So, Jace ignored the Infinite Consortium while he was the head of it. And because of the fact he was doing that, he was just kind of wandering, doing his own thing, running away from his problems, running away from his responsibilities, and the entire consortium fell apart. And he didn't care at all. And so he's kind of just wandering the 10th district of Ravnica when he starts to notice these strange symbols. And so he contacts a friend of his, a Vidalcan. Friend is probably a strong term. A person he knows that's also smart, named Cavan. So basically what happens is that he's working with him and he starts to figure out this puzzle. And it's this big lattice work. And he's noticing that while he's researching it, that the Zet League is also... What is with your face right now, Joe? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I don't know what's happening or what you're waiting for. So basically what's happening is that the Zet League is looking in on it as well. And they're trying to figure out, what is the thing that is so important about this whole scenario? And Cavan is looking into it, and he's like, okay, Jace, I'll tell you.
Hi, Kevin.
I told Joe he had one hi Cavan in this entire thing. He used it at a pretty good time. The point is, we're introduced to a new character. Her name, Emara Tandris. She's an elf for the Selesnian Conclave.
I like elves.
What?
I like elves.
Yes, and she likes Jace. And Jace likes her. But
We were talking about this outside of Ricky's door. Ariel was just looking at us like we were talking about a soap opera. It was so funny.
yeah, because there's some things to Amara's character that are developed further. So, basically, she gives Jace his little wooden pendant. And she's like, Jace, you can join the Conclave if you want to. It's okay. We don't have any secrets. You won't have to worry about anything like that. Just join us. We're best friends. And Jace is like, no, I'm good. I don't want to be green-white. I am not green-white. And so...
Can you imagine a bad Jace?
At the same time, they would make a bad Jace. That's a good point. So while that's happening, the Dimir are also starting to look into it. But you're going to find out over the course of the story is all the guilds start figuring out this whole thing. They're all starting to notice that there are these symbols showing up, and they all seem to be part of a particular thing that's important. Now, it is worth noticing what it is that makes it so important. Right now, there is no guild pact. At that point in the story, there is no guild pact.
What happened to the guild pact in the last time?
The guild pact in the original Ravnica was destroyed. And that was what was causing, and that's a whole other story I'm not going to get into. But basically,
What was the guild pact in the form of that it got destroyed?
It was a magical contract, basically. And because, if I remember correctly...
So basically somebody broke it and it got destroyed.
Yes. And it was Nazorius, because first Zedek tried to get it destroyed, and then Grand Arbiter Augustine, I think was his name, the Azorius head guy from the original Ravnica set, he was able to also find some loopholes that allowed him to circumvent and basically destroy the guild pact in an attempt to have complete control. He, of course...
You have to find out more about this later. Ravnica splashes into basically anything it can.
It's true. So, basically, what winds up happening is that all these different groups are figuring out what's going on. You have the Cult of Rakdos. They kidnap Amara. And while that's happening, the Azorius Senate tries to... they have these arresters, and they have Lavinia. And Lavinia is trying to take down a whole bunch of other... trying to capture Jace. And Rurik Dar shows up. and he helps Jace, and all this stuff is happening, and it's just kind of chaotic, and it's more just a way for them to have every one of the runners show up in the story.
I'd say it's kind of crashing gates for the set. That was called Gate Crash.
Yes, Joe, good
That
job.
came after we returned to Ravnica. Because we had already returned to Ravnica. And stuff was happening. And it
So
caused
basically
a
what
gate
happens-
crash.
So Jace is tracking down Ralzarek, and he's like, okay, he's at the guild gate, and he sees Nimazet there. This is right.
The gate that he's going to crash.
Exactly, because gate crash is going to happen soon. Now, that said, while they're there, Jace actually looks inside of the Firemind's mind. He's able to get into Niv-Mazzet's mind and see what's happening and like get like information on him, right?
Niv-Mizzet is the fire mind?
Yes.
I thought he was the Draco genius.
Niv-Mizzet now knows that he's done it. And that's not good. Because now he has the attention of the Draco genius. So he goes to Cavan.
I thought he was the fire mind.
And he goes to Cavan. And he's like, Jace, please don't do this anymore. Get out of this whole puzzle. You don't need to deal with it. It's not yours to do. This is a bad idea because you will die. And so Jace is like, you know what? I understand. And I'm going to erase my mind. I'm going to erase 6 months of work from my mind. Because erasing my memories has never been a bad thing. And so he does that, and then the Rakdos abduct Amara, because they, I mean, obviously. And he's like, why did they do that? I have no idea why they would do that. So Jace, his memory erased, the girl he likes captured, the Azoria Senate now after him because of all the stuff he's been snooping through. They send Lavinia, who is like this arrester. She's this up and coming cop kind of thing. And so she's going, and Rurik Thar, who's this Gruul, I guess you could say he's just this, okay, he's a clan chief kind of thing. Rurik and Thar. Rurik Thar, because there's a two-headed giant, basically. Two-headed ogre? I am an ogre. No, yeah, he's an ogre. Two-headed ogre.
He has layers.
He has layers. 2 of them on his head. So basically what ends up happening is that Rurik Thar saves Jace, and they go to a Rakdos club. Because they had this little like token that was going to be a thing and all that. And so they're there, they're at the club, and Exava tries to kill Jace. Jace gets away. He's in this, he's able to like get the information out of Exava because he's a mind mage and all that.
I do like how Ravnica is an actual city. We just see a lot of the underbelly because we're dealing with the mages that deal in the underbelly, but like you have your tattoo parlor, you have your club, you have... I like it.
Yeah, and that's what's cool is because I felt like this was a better detective story because everyone didn't have an obvious answer to what this was. Obviously we did because we knew by the time that these stories were out already that what Dragon's Maze was going to be about. But even then, we didn't really know what the Dragon's Maze meant. We just knew it had to do with dragon. We assume it was Niv-Mizzet, but it could have been Bolas, it could have been a bunch of other stuff. I found this to be a better mystery story than the ones that they try to do that are actual mysteries.
Mhm.
That said, then they go to the this Golgari neighborhood, and they meet Virals, and Mara shows up and is like, "Hey, I'm here to save you." And he's like, "Okay, sure."
I thought I was here to save you. No, you're way too incompetent for that.
And then Merkel Vosk shows up. Merkel Vosk is a vampire, a psychic vampire, like all the vampires the Dimir are. And he winds up fighting Jace and Amara. He hurts Amara, and all this stuff happens. Merkel Vosk hurts Amara. Jace is like, I know what I have to do now. I gotta go. He defeats them. He defeats Mirko and runs away with Amara to Vitalgazi, where while he's there, he meets Captain Calamir. Captain Calamir is this incredibly suave and powerful Selesnian agent, basically. And he's Amara's boyfriend.
Oof.
Yes. Turns out Amara's just really nice, and she likes Jace, but she doesn't like Jace. Which
That's
is
depressing.
yes, and Jace is like, Jace is that's what he's upset by more than anything else. And so he's there, and he's like,
You realize you did some really shady stuff here, right? But
but the barrel. So basically, what's happening is, but I
That hasn't come
love
out yet.
you. But I love you. That's true. Donkey Kong Country hasn't come out yet. The point is, Calamir can't have his mind read. Jace can't read him, and Jace is super suspicious of that. And they're like, Calamir is one of our most trusted, like, warriors. Get out. And he's like, but I love her. And then they're like, get out. And so they toss Joe out of the conclave because. What part do you mean you want to?
The me. He said they tossed Joe out of the conclave.
Oh, I meant to say Jace. I'm sorry.
Just imagine him going up to Donnie.
You have very
Okay. Here's some more legendary lore from Joe's perspective. Okay, so Jace comes up and he's like after this girl. I'm just like, oh, cool. I brought back Amara. I can have her now, right? And then this guy comes up and just like, no, you cannot have Amara. What you can have is the back end of my sword. And he's like, but no, hold on. I can't read your mind. He's like, yes, you can. I totally have a human mind. And then Jace goes up to Amar and just like, I think that guy might be a robot. And then he gets kicked out.
Great job, Joe. So, Jace feels like Amara's in danger because obviously he doesn't trust Calamir. Not just because he's dating Amara. So, Jace goes to Lavinia, the person who had been trying to arrest him. And so he goes there and he's talking about the Demir. He explains all that to her. And she's like, you know what? I don't really care. And go to Rukthar if you want to get like more information. Turns out the reason that he has to go to Rukthar is because Rukthar was hired specifically to destroy Jace's house, basically. Which is how they came into contact in the first place. But the point is, Jace finds Rukthar. And he's trying to talk to him and get information out of him. But this guy's a Gruul master. So you know what happens, Joe? What?
He talked by battle.
Exactly. And so Jace is then challenged by Rukthar to trial by combat, basically. And that's where we're going to end this. This is going to be a two-parter. We have Return to Ravnica for this bit. Next time, we're going to talk about the Dragon's Maze. And it's going to get crazy. There's a lot of stuff.
I'm looking forward to it, guys. Go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss that episode. It's a cliffhanger. You can't leave yourself on this. You got to find out what happens. Go ahead and leave a like if you like the video. Comment what you'd like to see next. We'll see you guys next time.
Fantastic.
A robot.